back to Why Are We Here Studios, where we seek to ask and answer the question, why are we here? Just finished shooting the intro to a different video about telemed Suboxone, and I guess it's starting to look like this channel is going to go towards kind of personal growth. I didn't know there was a personal growth space on YouTube, but apparently there is, and like I've said in this last video, all I want is for enough people to be helped by the videos that it can self-sustain. Like, I'm not looking to be a millionaire. I don't give a fuck about that. I want enough in the bank to take care of my family, period. That's it. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I feel like most people don't talk about it because, I don't know. Oh, fuck. There's air. Damn it. Alright, well, I'm going to try to make it anyway, even though the air conditioner just started up, or the heater, or the house fan, whatever the fuck. So this video is going to be about what you need to know if you're going to jail/prison. And the thing about it is, if you're going to jail and you know you're going to jail, then you're probably going to prison, because that means you've been convicted of something and you're like out until you go. Now, if you don't know whether you're going to jail and you're just riding around committing crimes all the time, such as having a Schedule 1 narcotic on your possession at almost all times, then you should do these things just in case you go to jail. But I guess I'm going to explain the jail-prison process just a little bit, and then I've written down a list of shit. It's like, do these things, and you will probably survive, maybe actually even have a little bit of fun, and then when you get out, you can resume your life. So, myth number one, nobody goes straight to prison. You always go to jail first. You process into the prison, and then, like, your state's, transportation inmate system comes and gets people and takes them to their prisons. And in the prisons, they move people around all the time. So, things to keep in mind are, everything takes 10 times longer than you would overestimate it to take. Anything you take into jail, if you go to prison, you'll probably lose one way or another. Whether it's in transit, from your locker, get your ass beat and taken from you, what the fuck ever. So don't take anything that you don't want to lose or are not okay with losing. You should definitely have somebody on the outside that you actually trust. I'm talking about like a sibling or a parent that you know can't leave you, that can't stop taking your calls, what the fuck ever, that has some amount of money that you're gonna, need while you're inside, because about the worst thing to have to do is to be in jail or prison broke. If you have a little bit of money, you can buy just about anything. Things about jail, you can't smoke in jail, usually. Prison, you can smoke in prison. There's cigarettes all over prisons. As soon as you get to prison, you're going to be bombarded with tobacco, Suboxone. If you're lucky or unlucky, depending on whether you're trying to get clean or not, people are going to have coke and heroin and fucking meth. And, anything that's on the street, you can get in prison. It costs 5 to 10 times more. On the street, a Suboxone strip costs 10, 15 bucks, 20 if you're unlucky. In prison, if you're lucky, 45 for one strip. And, it's like payday when whoever brings them into that prison gets them in on their weekly thing or whatever. Everybody goes crazy. There's a bunch of strips. Everybody's doing rides. That's what they call it, $5 Suboxone, a little teeny tiny piece. You put it in water and snort it, and that's a ride, and you can cut a strip into about 16 or 20 of those. I don't know if I'm sharing inside shit that I'm not supposed to say. I assume not. Anybody that's been to prison knows what I'm saying is true, and anybody that hasn't, what is it? If you know this, it's gonna break the system or some shit. Obviously, everybody knows drugs get into prisons already, so it's not like a secret. There it goes. So now it's off. Hopefully that's better. If that was real bad, I'll reshoot it. So if you're definitely going to jail, prison, or if you might be going to jail, prison. I say jail, prison because, you know, if you're going in for a trial, then you don't know if you're going to prison or not, but you're definitely going to jail. Most people get arrested and they didn't know they were going to jail, and they regret not wearing as many white t-shirts as you can put on, as many pairs of white underwear as you can get, and as many pairs of white socks as you can get, because most counties, I've only been arrested in a couple, but most counties in most states, everybody I've ever met says they let you keep white stuff, and the reason for that is gang colors. That's why you can't wear, like, you know, blue underwear or black underwear. They take it from you, and they give you white underwear or no underwear. And it's pretty rough when all you have is that fucking orange denim jumpsuit. It's rough, man, if you don't have a t-shirt, socks, something. Especially underwear. I mean, dude, rough. And you can imagine. So that'd be my number one thing, is to wear white everything. If you think you might get arrested and go to jail, all the time. If you know you're going in, wear white everything in, obviously. Jail and prison are very different. In jail, you're usually locked in a cell with one other guy. In prison, you're usually, unless you're like, you know, convicted, I mean, you have to have been to prison before to not go to minimum security the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could commit a felony right now, and I might go to closed custody or medium custody, but probably not. I'd probably go back to minimum custody, which in my state is called green clothes camps. And a lot of the prisons, you know, the front door, the gate is straight up open. People go out and work and then come back in. Like, it's really no big deal. Green clothes prison. So if you've never been to prison, don't sweat it. It's not that bad. If you got like a 3-month CRV or even, you know, 6 months, a year, a couple years, you can do that time. It's not that hard. But these rules or advisories, call them whatever the fuck you want, they really will help you. Like, I mean, I had people telling me, you really do your time well, bro. Like, I respect the way you do your time, because I never fucked with anybody. And I did not speak to someone unless they spoke to me first. And you can say, oh, that's kind of a bitch move, but it's really not. It's called keeping yourself to yourself. And there's several things to never ever do in jail and prison. And, you know, obviously that would be like, people always say, like, oh, your first day, you gotta beat up the biggest guy there so that they don't rape you every night or some shit like that. But that's not how it is. If it was ever like that, it's not like that anymore. I got out in 2017, and, you know, that's obviously 5 years ago, and I think it's probably gotten even easier since then. But you don't want to go trying to beat up the biggest guy there. What you want to do is you want to make friends with as many people as you can, like real friends, like have things in common, and not like manipulative friends, like not business friends, because I had some of all of those, but like real friends where if you say, hey dude, this dude's like gonna whoop my ass, they're like, nah, not just you, like we're fighting together. Like, crazy shit happened. If you're white, black, not either, whatever, people are gonna come and grab you into like a group of people and say, hey, this dude just got jumped, we're about to go take out the rest of whatever that race is. Like, they came to me and told me one time, like, handed me pencils and socks of batteries and being like, yeah, dude, they took this dude's cell phone, walking around the corner, we're about to go get it back. I was like, okay. I mean, you have to roll with your race. That is a real thing. If you've seen that on TV, that's a real thing. Like, I guess you could intentionally not roll with your race, but, like, people are going to assume that if it splits into racial shit because there's some kind of fight or whatever, people are going to assume that you go with the color you are. And typically, you've got black, white, and then you've got, you know, brownish, like Latino and Asian, and, like, it's kind of crazy, actually. And federal prison's totally different than state prison, so I'm not even going to get into fed prison because I haven't personally been to it. I've just heard lots of shit about it. But you definitely want somebody controlling money outside that you really can trust. because you're going to need to have them be able to do Western Unions and things like that, as well as put money on your account so you can buy things like soda and food. Some people spend all their money on drugs and they're broke 5 days out of every week. Some people actually like work out and build themselves up and get better while they're inside, and they get out even better when they went in. That's what I did. Some people do kind of down the middle, they try to do better, but it's hard. That's pretty much the vast majority. And this wasn't intentionally like an explanation of what it's like to be in prison. Actually, I was actually gonna just do kind of a short, like, here's what you need to know if you're definitely going to prison. And the main thing is, just keep your fucking shit to yourself. Act like you know how to fight if you know how to fight. And if you don't, make friends with a lot of people fast. I was fortunate, you know what I mean? Like, I carry myself confidently, like I know how to handle myself. I did not get in a single fight while I was inside. I don't know if that was luck. Certainly nobody was scared of me. I'm not trying to say that, but, if you act like a bitch, people will just take shit from you and just, like, beat you up. Sometimes. It's not as bad as they make it out in the movies, though. Like, where you're just like, you're walking down the thing and somebody just starts pounding you for like, $1. Well, shit, there's no cash, but for a soda in your pocket or whatever. It is true that if you have a lot of shit, like if you get shoes, like I had my shoes stolen the third day that I had them. I bought shoes, they were like $40, a whole week's money. And there was this dude, I didn't find out till he got transferred. There was this dude down the row from me when I was in processing, which is like, 64 people in a gigantic ass room, 32 double bunks. And I found out later that he was mopping the floors and he just grabbed my shoes because I didn't have them locked up like an idiot. That's the other thing, lock your locker all the time. And even then, people still know how to get into them because they've got the master combinations, master keys, and sometimes they'll just bend the fucking locker all the way open and grab shit out of it. I mean, there's so much shady shit that goes down in there. It's unreal. But you will probably survive if you don't try to be a badass. Like, don't go in there trying to be a badass, because even if you are a badass, a group of people are going to get together and be like, look, let's take him down a peg. Let's just fuck him up. And you never know when that could result in being killed. I mean, there were a couple of people who got killed in prison when I was there. Guy escaped when I was there. Guy escaped from the prison I was at. A couple of people got killed. It wasn't at the prison I was at. It was like close to the prison I was at. One of them was a guard, and one of them was an inmate. And I mean, it was probably just started out as, some stupid confrontation, and somebody just went too far and they fucking didn't make it. Dental care, eyeglass care, all shit like that, they don't give a fuck. Like, don't go in there thinking you're gonna get medical treatment, because, like, they have to do some medical treatment, and you might get certain prescriptions if it's like, shit you really need, but you need to take as much medicine with you to jail as you can. If it is medicine you can't live without, for sure. Like, I'm asthmatic, which is awesome. You've seen the movies, it's always a dork hitting the fucking inhaler. I think I kind of reversed that stereotype, as I've kind of always been, I don't know, doing dumb shit. So people are always really surprised to find out that I have asthma, because the stereotype is this really nerdy kid, and while I'm pretty smart, I'm not that nerdy. And it's really obvious. It's basically, prison is the lowest common denominator of people you meet on the street. And I don't mean in worth, I mean in what they're willing to do to get what they want, because they're locked up. So, like, I'm not talking shit about inmates. I was an inmate, and I didn't think of myself as better or worse than anybody else. It's just, you put all these people in the environment where there's even less resources than out here in the world, and you're living in living in even tighter quarters with no women, if it's men, and that's really horrible. it sucks. The one thing you're going to want to make sure that you do is try to call whoever your people are. If you've got, you know, if you've got a wife, kids, parents, whatever, you want to call them as often as possible, and that comes from both a strategic sense and, you know, you want them on your side because they'll help you more, but mostly it's torture in there, not knowing what's going on out here in the world with your people. Like, if it's kids, wife, like, I mean, you know, think about it for a second. If you just disappeared out of your life for 3 weeks, like, what kind of crazy shit could happen? A lot of crazy shit could happen if you disappear out of your life, and you wouldn't be able to deal with any of it. And, like, a lot of times, you know, you go a few days without talking to your people, and then you find out some crazy shit has gone down, and, you know, if you stay more in touch, that won't happen as much. I don't know. I'm not really thinking of anything else right now. If you haven't ever been and you don't know what to expect, you keep to yourself, have somebody on the outside with your money, wear as many white clothes as you can. Don't go in acting like a badass, but do not be a afraid little bitch either. You know, you pick the rest up. Like, never sit on anybody else's bed without permission, first of all. That's a big one. And there's certain other things, you know, like you never want to do gang signs unless you're in a gang. But see, you know these things if you're in a gang. And if you're not, I would think anybody would know. Like, you don't throw up gang signs when you're not in a gang. But, you know, you don't want to represent something you're not. But you also don't want to look like you represent nothing. So, you know, make friends, wear all white stuff, be prepared for everything to take 10 times longer than you would overestimate it to take. Take whatever medicines that you need with you to jail. They will ship them to your prison. Make sure you have at least $40, $50 a week with the people that have your money outside to put on your books, because that's about the minimum in most places, and that'll keep you able to eat decent food, able to drink some sodas, some ice cream, and prison ain't all that bad. I mean, it sucks being taken out of your life, and it sucks for the people that you leave out here in the world to do what the fuck ever, but it's not that, like, I just realized I'm probably gonna have to turn this way. Fuck. I'm an idiot. This is what I did wrong. Good job, moron. Fucking fuck. That's great. It'd be exactly the same, wouldn't it?